From a tiny seaplane factory to the fighters that saved Britain, this is the complete story of every single aircraft Supermarine ever built. Let's dive in. Supermarine P.B.1. Let's start at the very beginning, 1914. The P.B.1 was Supermarine's first aircraft. It was designed to attack German Zeppelins, but only one was built. The concept was ambitious, but the execution? Not quite there yet. Supermarine P.B.9. Next came the P.B.9 in 1914, a two-seat patrol flying boat. Only one prototype flew. It showed promise for reconnaissance, but the timing just wasn't right for production. Supermarine P.B.23. The P.B.23 arrived in 1915 as a fighter improvement. Still experimental, still learning. Supermarine was refining their approach with each design. Supermarine P.B.25. By 1915, they tried the P.B.25 quadruplane. Yes, 4 wings. It was weird, it was unconventional, and unsurprisingly, it didn't enter production. But you've got to admire the creativity. Supermarine P.B.29. The P.B.29 came in 1916 as a patrol flying boat. Another stepping stone. Each failure taught them something valuable about what worked. Supermarine P.B.31E Nighthawk. Now we are getting somewhere. The 1917 Nighthawk was built to hunt Zeppelins at night. It featured an early searchlight for night operations. Innovative? Absolutely. Practical? That's debatable. Only 2 were built. Supermarine Baby. The Baby in 1918 was actually a conversion of a German aircraft. Supermarine modified seized German aircraft, learning from enemy engineering. Smart move. Supermarine N.1B Baby. The N.1B was an improved Baby variant. Refinement was becoming Supermarine specialty. Supermarine Channel. 1919's Channel was a commercial flying boat. After the war, they pivoted to civilian markets. Makes sense. There was money in peacetime aviation. Supermarine Sea Lion I. The Sea Lion I of 1919 was built for racing. Supermarine was entering competitions to prove their engineering prowess. Speed meant credibility. Supermarine Sea Lion II. The 1922 Sea Lion II won the Schneider Trophy. This victory put Supermarine on the map. Winning international races? That's marketing gold. Supermarine Sea King. 1920's Sea King was a commercial amphibian. They saw the future of passenger transport, getting people across water efficiently. Supermarine Sea Eagle. The 1923 Sea Eagle was a larger commercial flying boat. Supermarine was becoming serious about commercial aviation. Supermarine Commercial Amphibian. This 1920 design was exactly what it sounds like. Versatility was the selling point. Land or water, your choice. Supermarine Seagull. The 1921 Seagull was a reconnaissance amphibian for the Royal Navy. Finally, a military contract that stuck. 6 were built for the Australian Navy. Supermarine Scarab. The 1924 Scarab was a reconnaissance biplane. Only 1 built, but the lessons learned were invaluable. Supermarine Swan. The 1924 Swan was a luxury flying boat. They were targeting wealthy travelers who wanted style with their speed. Supermarine Sheldrake. 1924's Sheldrake was a torpedo bomber amphibian. The Navy wanted versatility, and Supermarine delivered with amphibious strike capability. Supermarine Seagull II. The improved Seagull II arrived in 1926. They took what worked and made it better. Classic engineering iteration. Supermarine Southampton. Now we are talking. The 1925 Southampton was a hugely successful flying boat. This was a workhorse. 83 built across multiple variants. The Southampton served the RAF throughout the late 1920s and early 1930s. It proved Supermarine could deliver reliable military aircraft at scale. Supermarine S.4. 1925's S.4 was a beautiful racing seaplane. It was built for the Schneider Trophy but crashed before the race. Speed came with risks. Supermarine S.5. The S.5 dominated the 1927 Schneider Trophy. First and second place. Supermarine was mastering high-speed flight, and these lessons would directly influence the Spitfire. Supermarine S.6. The S.6 won again in 1929, breaking records left and right. This was where Supermarine learned to tame incredible horsepower. Supermarine S.6B. The legendary S.6B won the 1931 Schneider Trophy permanently. 3 consecutive wins meant Britain kept the trophy forever. And more importantly, Reginald Mitchell learned everything he needed to know about high-performance fighters. Supermarine Scarpa. The 1932 Scarpa was a military flying boat. 14 were built. Solid, reliable, but not glamorous. Supermarine Stranraer. The 1935 Stranraer was a long-range reconnaissance flying boat. 40 built for the RAF and Royal Canadian Air Force. It served well into World War II. Supermarine Walrus. Here's a World War II hero you might not know. The 1935 Walrus amphibian. 740 built. This pusher propeller design saved countless downed airmen from the sea. Air-sea rescue became its specialty. Ungainly looking? Sure. Lifesaver? Absolutely. Supermarine Type 224. The 1934 Type 224 was the Spitfire's awkward ancestor. It lost the RAF competition to the Gloucester Gladiator. But failure breeds innovation. Mitchell went back to the drawing board. Supermarine Spitfire. And now, the legend. The aircraft that needs no introduction. First Flight 1936. 20,351 Spitfires built across 24 major variants. From the Mark I defending Britain in 1940 to the Mark 24 with its Griffon engine pushing 450 miles per hour in 1946. Elliptical wings. Elegant lines. Incredible maneuverability. Supermarine Sea Otter. The 1943 Sea Otter was the Walrus's bigger brother. 292 built for air-sea rescue. It had better performance than the Walrus and served into the 1950s. Another quiet hero saving lives. Supermarine Seafire. Take a Spitfire, add a tailhook, strengthen the fuselage, you've got a Seafire. 2,556 built across multiple marks. The Royal Navy needed carrier fighters, and the Seafire delivered. It was tricky to land on carriers. That narrow landing gear wasn't ideal for deck operations, but in the air, pure Spitfire performance. It fought in the Mediterranean, Pacific, and Korea. Supermarine Spiteful. The 1944 Spiteful was the Spitfire's radical redesign. Only 19 built. By the time it was ready, jets were taking over. Wrong timing, right technology. Supermarine Seafang. The Seafang was a naval Spiteful. Only 18 built. Jets made propeller fighters obsolete almost overnight. Supermarine Attacker. Supermarine's first jet. The 1946 Attacker. It kept the Spiteful's tailwheel. Old school meets new school. 185 built. It served with the Royal Navy and Pakistan Air Force. Not revolutionary, but it kept Supermarine in the jet age. Supermarine Type 510. The 1948 Type 510 was a swept-wing research aircraft. This was about learning. How do swept wings behave at high speeds? The data was gold. Supermarine Type 535. The 1950 Type 535 refined the swept-wing concept. Each prototype brought them closer to a production fighter. Supermarine Swift. The 1951 Swift was supposed to be Britain's premier jet fighter. 197 built, but it was troubled. Control issues, reliability problems. It was quickly overshadowed by the Hawker Hunter. The Swift served mainly in reconnaissance and photo roles. Fast? Yes. Problematic? Also yes. Supermarine Type 508. The 1951 Type 508 was a naval fighter prototype. Only 1 built. It was a fascinating design, but the Navy wanted something else. Supermarine Type 525. The 1954 Type 525 evolved from the 508. This was getting closer to what would become the Scimitar. 3 prototypes tested various configurations. Supermarine Scimitar. The 1956 Scimitar was Supermarine's last operational aircraft. 76 built for the Royal Navy. It served on carriers from 1958 to 1969. Big, powerful, capable of nuclear strike missions. It could also do aerial refueling. The Scimitar was a beast, but it came late in the game. By the 1960s, Britain's aviation industry was consolidating. If you enjoyed this journey through aviation history, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives. See you in the next one.